Hey guys, it's Stasia and welcome back to my channel. So today we're just gonna do a fun little get to know me tag type of thing. It's actually called the Reading Habits book tag or Reading Habits tag. And I originally seen this from Noelle's channel, but she got the questions from Ariel. So I will leave both their channels linked down below if you want to check them out. But yeah, so it's fun, quick 11 questions. So let's get into it. So question 1 is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And I want to say yes and no, because I'm in my library and right behind the camera I do have a reading chair that I read in, I guess. But I do a lot of my reading kind of all over the house. If I'm downstairs with the dogs, then I'll stay downstairs. If I feel like using my chair up here, then I'll use my chair. But when my husband's home, then I read in our bedroom so that I'm near him. So it's like a yes or no. I do have technically a designated reading space, but that doesn't like mean that I read there all the time. Question 2 is bookmark or a random piece of paper. And just, I use bookmarks. I hope I use them because I have so many bookmarks. Like, these are just all bookmarks, and these are not all of them because I have more that are like themed with Carvel next to my Carvel shelf. And then I have some that are in like my prop basket that are like pretty bookmarks, but bookmark, definitely. All my books always have a bookmark, and usually in my book sleeves, oh, you can't see it, but they're behind me. Usually in my book sleeve, I have 2 bookmarks in each sleeve in case I randomly get a book somewhere and I already have a book, so I need a new bookmark. So definitely bookmarks. Bookmarks are my way to go. I usually go a little extra and try to, you know, make the colors match or like the aesthetic match with my book, but that doesn't always happen. But to answer the question, bookmarks, always. Question 3 is, can you stop reading or do you have to stop after a chapter or a certain amount of pages? This is kind of a hard question. So if I'm doing reading sprints, like we're doing reading sprints like live or something like that, I can definitely stop like in the middle of a page as long as I know where I'm at in the middle of a chapter. It doesn't really matter to me, only because I know that I'm going to be reading again soon, like in the next 20 minutes or something. So I don't mind too much, but usually I do prefer to end on a chapter, or if the chapter is like a really long chapter, sometimes they like split them up, you know, there's like the double spacing between like a paragraph or something. So I look for that, and if there's like any indication that there's like a stopping point, then I can stop there. I'm fine, even if it is like in the middle of a chapter. But I do prefer to go to end of chapters, but sometimes chapters are too long and I don't have time for it. The next question is, do you eat or drink while reading? And the answer is yes. I'm always snacking. I always have like chips or something to snack on. And then I always have water. Water is like a must. If I'm feeling fancy or if I'm downstairs reading, then I might have a cup of hot chocolate. For the most part, water and always a snack. Always. I have to have a snack. Number 5, multitasking. Music or TV while reading. I can do like music if it's instrumentals and like ambient sort of music. Like I could do all of that. As for TV, I do read a lot when the TV is on because I leave the TV on for my dogs. You can judge me, but my dogs actually watch TV. Like, I'm not joking when I say they watch TV. So they usually have like kids channels, so like Nick Jr. and stuff like that. So that's usually on, but I could not have a show that I care about while I'm reading because then I get distracted, even if it's like a rewatch. So yes and no. The next question is, one book at a time or several at once? And I definitely need to be reading several. It helps me feel less overwhelmed, especially when I have so many books on my TBR. But lately I've been kind of just doing like 1 or 2. My only issue is that I usually need to do different formats and different genres. So like I could read 3 romance at once, but it needs to be like a contemporary romance, a historical romance, and then like a fantasy romance. Like it needs to have different elements, otherwise I get confused. And usually I do try to have at least 1 audiobook going at all times, and then a physical book or an ebook, sometimes an audio, physical, and ebook. It really just depends on my mood, but I'm definitely a person who reads more than 1 book at once. Next is reading at home or everywhere. I mainly read at home. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so if I'm going out, it's either not for a long period of time or like it's something important where I couldn't really read. If I know I'm going somewhere that I might have a wait time, I'll definitely have a book, or I will have my Kindle app on my phone. So, I mean, usually at home, if we're going on a long drive, I usually bring a book, but my husband is a very distracting person, so I don't tend to read when we're in the car anyways. But yeah, mainly at home. Number 8 is reading out loud or silently in your head. And honestly, do people read out loud? Like, unless it's forced, like in a school setting, do people read out loud, like for fun? I don't know, but I can't. I feel like that would be distracting and I would be saying it and not comprehending. So no, I definitely read in my head. I have to read in my head. Next, do you read ahead or even skip pages? Okay, this is kind of hard. I don't skip pages and I don't skip ahead intentionally. I don't do it intentionally, but I do this thing where every time I start a new chapter, I like flip to the chapter after that. So if I'm on like chapter 10, then I'll go to chapter 11 just to see how long the chapter is. I don't know if people do that, but I'm weird. So I do like sometimes like catch some words. And if I'm reading physically, then my eyes, I don't know, they just can't focus and they dart somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, now I need to read up until that point because I know what happens. So I don't do it intentionally. Like, I'm not purposely skipping paragraphs or purposely like skipping pages. It just kind of happens for me. I don't know if that makes sense. So number 10 is breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I definitely like to keep my books looking new, but I don't mind a broken spine. I won't go out of my way to break it, but if I break it, I won't cry. I don't know. I do definitely prefer non-broken spines though, just a preference. And then the last question, number 11, is do you write in your books? And I'm gonna say no, but last year I read a book and I got it from the used bookstore. So when I started reading it, there was already writing in it. So that's the only book I've ever written in. And yeah, so I have one book that I've written in, but it was just like pencil, like underlining. But other than that, I don't really annotate. I don't even like tab up my books unless it's a poetry. Poetry, I usually will tab, but like novels, I won't really tab. I don't know. I know people have like a process and like each color means something, but I'm too forgetful and I would honestly forget what each tab would even mean. So I don't tab my books, and I don't write in them, but that's fine. I'm just not that kind of reader. Okay, so that was all the questions. I'll leave all the questions and both Ariel and Noelle linked down below if you want to do the tag yourself. Then tag your it. If you don't, thank you for watching. That's all I have for you today. You can like, comment, and subscribe down below. All of my socials are in the description if you want to check me out anywhere else. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!